Guys, it is so bad out. There goes another one. This ice storm is terrible. So I'm gonna go back inside and I'm gonna make a yummy soup and I'm gonna try to stay warm. Well friends, power is out all over the city and it is freezing cold. Everything is completely covered in ice. So I was making the boys' blueberry muffins, which right now we have power. It's gone off on me twice and I've had to restart my oven, but hoping that the muffins will finish. But I decided since the power is kind of sketchy right now, I'm gonna make soup for lunch, and I figured I would share with you guys one of my favorite recipes that my mom always makes, creamy pimento soup. But I'm going to kind of change it up a little bit because I feel like we need something a little bit heartier today. So I'm gonna show you how to make it. So my mom's recipe calls for flour and she makes a roux and then goes from there and makes a nice creamy sauce. But I'm trying to do a low carb diet and so I feel like the flour is just not necessary, and so we're gonna change out a couple of things. The other thing, I'm kind of just taking the base or the idea or the flavor of her soup, but I'm making my own version that is a little bit more. My oven is beeping for no reason. Like there's still 44 seconds left to beep. I think the power outages are frying it. My soup is gonna have a very similar flavor to hers, but it's going to be far more low carb, keto friendly, and it'll be delicious. All right, so here's what you're gonna need. You're gonna need a carton of chicken stock. You're going to need a can of chicken stock because this is 4 cups and this is a cup, and you actually need 5 cups for the recipe. Her recipe, I think, called for like 16 ounces of diced pimentos. It's an ice storm. We're gonna use what we have. So I'm gonna be using a total of 11 ounces of pimentos. So if you wanna know exactly what I'm using, I have a medium jar and a small jar. 1 package of cream cheese, 1 12-ounce pack of shredded Mexican cheese, because again, ice storm, this is what I have in the house, but you can use whatever kind of shredded cheese you want. And then I have 2 pounds of boneless, skinless chicken breasts. Oh, my fridge is so bad right now, y'all. Ice storm, everything's ice storm's fault. I completely forgot one of the items. Half and half. 3 cups of half and half. All right, so we are going to add this chicken stock to the chicken just until we cover it. That probably was another tree branch falling, sweetie. Put that on high, and then we are going to bring this to a boil and cook it for 15 minutes or until your chicken has an internal temperature of 165. And now I'm going to add the jars of pimentos into this saucepan with the liquid and everything. Like everything goes in there. And then, get out there. Then you're going to add the can of the chicken stock. And then whatever is left, which was basically nothing. Okay. All right, so we're gonna heat this just until it starts to simmer. And then we're gonna use our good old emulsion blender and blend all of this up. Okay, so now that we're waiting for all of that to cook, make sure every time that I make anything that requires cream cheese getting heated up, I always take it out and leave it on the counter while I'm doing all the other parts, because that way this will get to room temperature. Now, if it's taking a while to get to room temperature, another thing that I would do is open it up, and while it's still in this, I'll just kind of knead it a little bit. Play with it, let the heat of my hands kind of start to soften it. So, just a little tip. Poor Dad just called, and they've got pine trees have fallen. They've lost their power, and the pine trees have fallen. A bunch of the really large branches have fallen across their driveway, so they're stuck at their house with no power. So my sweet fabulous hubby is going to go get them after work if they still don't have power, so that they can come over here and join our madness. All right, so my chicken is done. So I'm just going to put it on my cutting board. All right, so now that I've got the chicken out of this, I'm going to take my cream cheese and I'm going to put my cream cheese into this chicken broth. This melt on down. So I've added my cream cheese. It's going to break this up and help it melt down even more. One thing I've found that's very helpful is just kind of smushing it. When it gets really soft, I'll even push it to the sides and just kind of smush and then scrape it off the sides. Alright, so now that that is kind of blended up, what we're going to do is move that blender, this one's my hand's not easy, over to our pimentos. One thing you need to make sure that you do when you're blending this all up, you need to make sure that you keep this down here because this is hot and you do not need this coming up on you. Alright, back to this pot. Get any of the little leftover cream cheese off the side. So this is now nice and blended together. We've still got a few big chunks in there, but we'll get rid of those. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to pour in the half and half. And we're going to let this cook just a little, just heat it up. I really just want to get the half and half nice and warm before I put the pimentos in. So while we wait on this to get warm, I'm going to go ahead and just start chopping up this chicken. Normally I would say to just pull the chicken apart, but I want this to be in nice little bite-sized pieces. If you're a vegetarian, you can absolutely make this soup and just leave out the chicken, or add in mushrooms. Mushrooms would be really, really good in this. Or you could do tofu, maybe fry up some tofu before you throw it in, or just vegetables in general. But it also is just really, really good without anything. That's the way my mom always makes hers, is just as a creamy pimento soup. Now she adds the flour, but as far as meat goes, you don't have to add any. So now I'm going to add the pimentos to this pot. And we are going to stir this all together. And I am going to add some salt to it. Probably about half a teaspoon is all that mine needs. But it's, again, just taste preference. Just going to add my chicken in. Okay, so I've added my chicken and I'll lower my heat just a little bit. I do not need any of this curdling. I'm going to keep this on low. And now for the cheese. And it is delicious. Oh, it is delicious. As Jack says, this is delicious. And this soup is delicious. Yeah, it's delicious. And there it goes. Oh, I'm telling you, it has been teasing us all day. We keep thinking that we're about to lose power, and then it comes back on. Okay, so now I've added The chicken is in here. The cheese is in here. The cheese is already melted. I gotta show you all this goodness. Hold on, let me... I already lost my tasting spoon. Oh, my hair's in my face. I already lost my tasting spoon. All right. Oh. Oh, oh, oh. So for those of you who are worried, yes, come try it. For those of you who are worried that tastes like pimento cheese, like if you're not a pimento person, I promise you it's a totally
looks amazing.
Different flavor. All right, blow on it for a second. Hold on, let's get honest.
Holy cow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's good. It's so good. It's really good if you have grilled cheese to dip it into.
Are you making grilled cheese?
No, I'm done.
Dadgummit.
I've made
my own grilled
I've
cheese?
made soup. I'm done.
I make
done.
my own grilled cheese.
All right, I'm gonna serve this up so you guys can see what it looks like. My mom always served hers with a dollop of sour cream and either some fresh herbs or green onions. I added some little cheese straws for mine. But there it is, creamy pimento soup. So now my favorite thing to do with this soup is to take this little cheese straw, dip it into my soup. It's so good. Oh my gosh. Y'all, it's so good.